Welcome to 60 days of keeping promises to myself, because after what has undoubtedly been the worst few months of my life, I need to start giving my brain some new evidence. Evidence about who I am, what I'm capable of, and where I'm going from here. Let me explain what that means. If you've seen me around or you happen to know me, you probably know that I've spent years studying personal development, psychology, goal setting, behavior change, neuroplasticity, all the brain science stuff. I've coached people through making changes in their own lives. I've spent years learning how our thoughts affect our behaviors, how our behaviors affect our beliefs, and how small goals can build confidence and self efficacy. I know this stuff inside and out, and yet the past few months have absolutely wrecked me. Earlier this year, earlier this year, I went through a pregnancy loss that destroyed me. But 4 weeks later, 4 weeks later, I lost my oldest son to suicide. And there have been dozens of other, in comparison, minor inconveniences that have just smashed us time after time after time throughout this year. And I battle depression, and I've been battling really, really hard lately. Um, I think understandably, I haven't been functioning at my best. I have been dealing with what is undoubtedly the worst period of depression that I have ever experienced in my adult life. My routines have completely fallen apart. The kids don't have a bedtime anymore, and frankly, neither do I. My nutrition has not been great at all, to say the least. Some days, grief takes my appetite away completely until it's 9 p.m. and I realize I haven't eaten anything all day, and then I smash a package of graham crackers. And that's not good. And then some days it's the opposite, and I'll eat anything in sight. And before before the pregnancy, I was in a cut that was seemingly productive, and that got interrupted by the worst few months of my life. And the thing is, with my chronic pain, I have to be incredibly careful what I eat on any given day, or else I will wake up in horrible pain, which happens a lot lately. I keep procrastinating on things that I know I should do. I keep avoiding things that other people need me to do. And I've spent way too much time on my phone. I've told myself I'll do it tomorrow more times than I'd like to admit. And probably one of the things that bother me the most about what's been going on is the way I've started to talk to and about myself. Saying things like lazy, useless, why can't you just get it together? What is wrong with you? You just keep screwing everything up. And the interesting thing is, I know better. I know what repeatedly talking to myself in that way does. I know that thoughts repeated often enough can reinforce beliefs that I don't want to be true. I know that when I continually tell myself I can't count on myself, and then I make these huge promises, don't follow through, and then beat myself up about it afterwards, I'm just giving my brain more evidence for a belief that I don't even want. But something I've learned about beliefs over the years is that they're more changeable than most people tend to think they are. I have watched that happen in my life, and I know I can do it again. Years ago, when I was only 19 or 20, I was told by doctors that I should never run or jump again after breaking my hips in 5 places because of a skeletal deformity I didn't even know I had. And right then, I believed them. I mean, who wouldn't? They're doctors, right? I can't run or jump, and there's nothing I can do about it. I mean, my body is just different, right? Well, around 24, I found out what prophylactic hip exercises could do for me. Fell in love with fitness and strength training and became a fitness coach. And that started changing my beliefs on my ability to run. Every now and then on my walks, I would jog very gently just for 10 seconds or so. Just just kind of proving to myself that I could. Like, you know, take that, doctors. 10 seconds, still running. After several more years of personal development, I started probably around 28, strategically increasing the short little jogs I would do. I went to 12 seconds and 15 seconds, then I'd do that 2 times during my walk, 3 times, etc. And seeing that some improvement was possible, I ended up setting a ridiculous goal. Or at least it was ridiculous in my mind at that time. I was going to complete a marathon by the time I was 40. If I had to walk most of it, that's fine, but I was going to complete it. And honestly, I'm not sure that I actually believed I would ever be able to do it at that time. I think that's why I gave myself 12 years to make it happen. But I had learned a ton about goal setting and, steady improvement. So I started with little goals. One of my first races was a 5K bubble run, which I did with my family, and we walked probably 98% of it. But we finished. It was 5K. It was the furthest that I'd ever really done in that kind of structured way. And then I did another 5K. It was an obstacle course race. That was really, really fun. And I was hooked. So then I did another and another, and I started weaving them into my yearly goals and improvement. So eventually I did a 5K Savage race. I did a 5K Spartan. I did a 10K Savage race. I did a 10K Spartan. And last year, I finally tackled the 21K Spartan Beast. While I did have to walk like most of it because I was doing it on a broken foot, because I did the 10K Savage 2 weeks before, I was super proud of myself. And it was more evidence of a stronger, more capable Casey. And actually, recently, very recently, for the first time in my entire life, I ran a full mile without stopping to walk. And I know that doesn't sound huge for most runners, but it was huge for me. Because somewhere in my brain, I'm pretty sure I still held that belief that I don't think I'm someone who can run a whole mile without stopping. And then I did. And suddenly my brain had a problem because it had evidence that contradicted that belief that it had held for so long. I couldn't truthfully say I can't run a mile. I had literally done it. And the other day I actually did it again. And that's something that I've become fascinated with over the years is I can notice beliefs that I hold about myself and think, I don't like that belief. I think I need to work on changing that. And then slowly I make a plan, I do actions, and I can change a belief about myself that I don't like. Not by standing in front of a mirror chanting something that I don't believe. That's not at all what I'm talking about here. And not by pretending that everything is wonderful, because I certainly can't do that right now. But by giving my brain new evidence. And that's what I need right now. I need my brain searching for and receiving the new evidence that I can do this, that I can keep going, that I can get myself back together again after everything that happened this year. Because intellectually, I know I'm not lazy. I'm grieving. And I know I'm not useless. I'm stuck in a pattern of struggling. And I know that having a really hard time after experiencing really hard things doesn't suddenly erase everything I know about myself. But knowing something intellectually and believing it aren't always the same thing. So instead of arguing with my brain, I'm going to give it evidence. I've decided that for the next 60 days, I'm going to practice keeping small promises to myself and tracking it. Now, these are not huge promises. This is not a 75 hard, not I'm going to transform my life completely in the next 60 days. And it's definitely not one of those challenges where when you miss day 37, you're apparently supposed to start the whole thing over and throw out all your progress. No. Because I know myself well enough to know how that would end. This is an experiment of consistency, not perfection. Every day, I have 5 minimum viable actions and 1 small promise that will be different each day that I'll pick the night before. By the way, if you don't know what a minimum viable action is, I will link something. And obviously, I'm going to record it and I'm going to check in with you guys every single evening to let you know how I did, how many of my minimum viable actions I did, if I kept my promise to myself. And every now and then we might talk about some brain science stuff because obviously I'm minorly obsessed with it. And focusing on this helps me get through each day. I hope. So, I have made this very simple PDF. You could probably write it out on a notebook if you preferred, but if you want it, the link is down below. You can get it for free. So my number 1 MVA is my Carry the Hope update. It's something I've been doing consistently for 27 days now for the ministry that I built in honor and memory of my son. So I'm going to continue doing that, and that is listed as my top MVA because it is something that is very, very, very important to me at this point in time. My second one is to track all my food and water intake. Just track it, not maintain a calorie deficit, not hit all my macros, though I do have a general protein goal that I try to hit each day. I'm not trying to be hyper controlling of everything else or even my calories right now. I just want to track it. I always eat better when I'm tracking anyway, so I know some natural improvements in my diet will happen. Number 3 is my Spartan training plan, because by the end of this 60 days, you guys are going to see me run the Spartan trifecta weekend. I'm going to report on it. It'll be on days 57 and 58. So number 3 is following my Spartan training plan. Now, I'm writing out my training plan each week. Sometimes following the Spartan training plan means active rest, which is just my walk, just my steps, and sometimes some light stretching. So that will still count as a win. I don't have to have like an hour-long strength training workout for it to count as a win. Rest counts. Number 4 is my devotional time. This is because taking care of myself without taking care of my relationship with God would be missing a pretty enormous part of this for me. They just go hand in hand for me. You may not be the same. That's okay. For me, finding Jesus for myself has been the biggest part of my personal development journey, and he has gotten me through every one of these hard days this year. I am always more at peace when I am constantly reminding myself of his presence. This devotional time also includes writing down daily gratitudes. Anything I think of that I'm grateful for. It's something I used to do a lot, and it helps with managing anxiety and depression. So I'm going to start doing that again. Number 5, my last MVA, is to check and update my planner every single day. Because apparently, keeping my entire life and life management of all of my children and husband in my head, hoping my brain reminds me of everything at the appropriate time, is not actually a reliable organizational system. Who knew? Also, with my executive function issues, I wouldn't be able to count on that even if it was. And then there's the 6th thing. Okay, there's tomorrow's promise. This is going to be done a little different because it's going to be a unique promise that I make to myself the night before. Just one. And it's got to be small, it's got to be specific, it's got to be doable in one go. So it could be put away that basket of laundry that's been haunting me for 5 days. Make that phone call I've been avoiding. Go to bed on time. It could be finishing one specific section of a page of the website for the ministry. It can't be something that is like a multi-step project. It needs to just be one of those steps. If it's part of the project, that's fine. But my promise to myself needs to be doable in one go. And then the tomorrow that comes, I will find out if I kept it. And you will find out if I kept it. This is something really important I want to stress here in case anybody is going to do this with me. I'm not aiming for 6 out of 6 every day. I fully expect myself to have some 2 out of 6 or even maybe a 1 out of 6 every now and then. That's okay. 2 out of 6 does not mean an F. It means that I kept 2 promises to myself that I probably didn't keep 2 months ago. And what I'm curious about is what will change over time. As I track this, I do hope to see improvement. I'm wondering if by the end, by that last week, I could be averaging 5 out of 6, or if maybe some of the things will become automatic. My CTH update has already become pretty automatic. It's the first thing I think about first thing in the morning is I want to get out on my walk and I want to make my update. So I'm wondering if everything else will become pretty automatic once I'm tracking it and reporting on it, which is definitely that element. It's called Pearson's Law. When performance is measured, performance improves. But when performance is measured and reported back, the rate of improvement accelerates. So it can also be considered the Hawthorne effect, knowing that you guys are out there, even just a few of you out there watching and expecting me to report will hopefully encourage my brain to do better, which will then allow my brain to gather this evidence that it so badly needs right now, that it can count on me again, that I can count on me again. And hopefully by the end of this, I will feel like I can count on me again. That's the idea. That's why I'm doing this. And of course, toward the end of this experiment, like I mentioned, day 56, I'll be running the 21K Spartan. And day 57, I'll be running the 10 and 5. That's the trifecta weekend we're doing. While I'm doing this experiment mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, I'm also training my body for something really freaking hard. And you get to see the really freaking hard thing come to fruition, as well as the first 2 rest days, recovery days, after that really freaking hard thing. And I kind of love that because it's real life. It's not going to end with the finish line. That's the expected cinematic shot. That's like, yay, I finished. No, you guys are going to get to see me bruised and beaten and sore the next 2 days and see me keeping promises to myself regardless, ideally. Because years ago, I didn't even really believe I could be a runner, and I can't just let the year that I've had completely knock me out of everything that I've worked for. Now I'm training for the trifecta weekend, of which we do plan on doing about 50-50 running walking. Apparently evidence works, so I'm counting on it. So that's what the next 60 days are. I'm going to talk about fitness, nutrition, mental health, psychology, neuroplasticity, goals, self-talk, faith, probably a little bit about grief, probably a little bit about failure. And I'm sure there will be some days where I don't want to do this anymore. And I'm going to show up then, too. And I hope some of you out there will hold me accountable, call me out if you don't see a video post. Most of my check-ins will probably be shorts. This is going to be a long form, obviously, because I needed to tell you guys so much information all in one video. I'll probably make shorts from this to try to direct people over, but I had no choice. It needed to be a long form. Maybe I'll try to make a short form of it. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I am still pretty new to the YouTube side of things, but I'm gonna do this. Not because I want you guys to watch me try to be perfect, because I can't. That's not gonna happen. So don't come back expecting that. But because I want to see what happens when I can feel like I can trust myself again. And if you're watching this thinking, goodness, I want to do this too, get that PDF. It's in the description. Pick 5 things in your own life, not mine, yours. I mean, they could be mine if you have similar things, some of mine. But pick 5 important things in your life, just minimum viable actions. And then start making promises to yourself for tomorrow. See how many you can keep. If you do join me, please comment and let me know, because that would be really cool. Because maybe there's something that you believe about yourself right now that isn't actually permanent, that doesn't need to be permanent. Maybe you think you have no discipline. Maybe you've started over so many times that you don't think you can trust yourself anymore. Maybe you think you're too far gone. Maybe you're waiting to feel motivated or something like that. I'm not going to ask you to suddenly believe the opposite. I'm just asking, what evidence would your brain need in order to start questioning that belief? And what's one tiny piece of that evidence that you could do and give it today? I don't know exactly who I'm going to be at the end of the 60 days. I don't expect her to have everything figured out. I don't expect her to be perfectly consistent. And I certainly don't expect her to just have magically gotten our life turned around, but I would really like her to trust herself more than I do today. I'd like her to feel a little stronger, a little more capable. I'd like her to be taking better care of herself. I'd like her to be a little kinder to herself. And I'd like her to feel a little closer to God. And I'd like her to have a whole lot of evidence that even when life gets really, really hard like it has, she still knows how to come back and she can still count on herself. This is day one, and obviously this video is today's promise because I can't go back in time and make tomorrow's promise today. And this is going to be the only video I post for day one, so obviously this is also my check-in video, which, let's see. I did the Carry the Hope update. I did track my food and water all day today. I did my training today. I did not do my devotional time. But I did check and update my planner, and I am finishing this video right now. So I'm giving myself a check for that. So I got 5 out of 6 this first day. Go me. Why does that already feel so good? Hmm. This could be a long video if I try to include all my emotional moments. Okay. So tomorrow's promise is cleaning off this desk because it has driven me crazy the whole time I was preparing for this video. I'm gonna write that down. Clean off my desk. It's on there. That's tomorrow's promise. Gosh. I hope I don't post this and have nobody watch. Then again, a part of me hopes I do post this and nobody watches. Okay. Well, I guess that's it. Y'all keep going because you're worth it.